more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very,
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Taryn Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people we love and care about most. This morning's episode is an interview with a superstar I've had the pleasure of beginning to work with. I'm really excited for her to start taking on some of I have a lot of papers in our coaching process in our business, and I'm excited to get some graphic design going. Megan's a rock star in the marketing space as well. And as entrepreneurs, we need to have products that look good and also can get in front of the right people, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm screaming into deaf ears of, this is what I offer. I can really help you with this. And I think with the right look and the right contact, we can do what's necessary to grow our businesses, achieve our goals, and become better versions of ourselves. So I wanted to have Megan on here today, talk more about her ventures, what she's working on. And she also has some really cool side hobbies about getting your booty moving and getting healthy and in shape. So it'll be really exciting to have her on here. So without further ado, good morning, Megan, and thanks so much for coming on to the show this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, Megan, we I wanted to get right into this this post that you had made on Facebook that I really liked, and talking about, so you were working, to my understanding, you had worked with a company for a long time, and then you made the leap and transition into entrepreneurship. Would you mind kind of telling us a little bit about your background in web design? What job did you have for over a decade? What were you doing?
Sure. So the past 11 years, I worked for a small marketing agency that really focused on direct mail. And we did direct mail for probably 5 to 6 years. And then once we gained the trust of our clients, they started asking us for more. So we started doing email marketing and text message marketing and kind of taking control of their entire direct marketing plan. So I did that with them for 11 total years. First 6 years of the direct mail, and then adding on the email marketing. We also had a rewards program that I helped develop. And working with a small team and being the first employee there, I really had my hands in everything, every part of the business. By the end of my tenure there, I was writing proposals and selling our services and really taking it from the beginning all the way through the delivery of the marketing materials and really strategizing with clients. And I realized one day that I was not really doing the work that I wanted to do. I was really felt like I was at the mercy of the company's profit center, which was direct mail. And while the direct mail did work well to make money for our clients, I felt that I wanted to get out of that arena for several reasons. Number one, mostly being the environment. I wasn't feeling good about the plastic that we were putting out into the world. And also I could just see the tide turning to more digital, and the agency wasn't really moving forward with more digital offerings. And I really enjoyed working one-on-one with my clients, and I wanted to choose the clients that I worked with and help them in the way that I knew was best, so I wouldn't be so kind of handcuffed anymore.
Right. Yeah. This it seems so wild. I'm curious what you think. So many people out there, I'd imagine that they're feeling a lot of friction and a lot of like pain with kind of I'm sure the company that you worked at, there's so many things we can say good about them. So I don't want to sound like I'm demonizing it, but I think so many people, they feel this kind of friction and this understanding that the marketplace is changing, but they're continuing to stay on that same path. Were you trying to did you want to stay? Like, did you like want to see like real digital change in the company, and like if they would have changed their strategies that would have been more favorable to like the changing industries in digital and been more environmental friendly, would you have stayed, or would you think you still would have left?
That's a good question. I think it's hard to say yes or no, but I could tell. And, through, I had made some attempts with our vendors to try to get some biodegradable mailers, in production. And I was met with, oh, that's too expensive. And,
Yeah.
all due respect to them, they had their business model and it was really focused around the direct mail. So there wasn't, and that was constantly being reiterated, like almost at every meeting. So
Yeah.
it was kind of soul sucking in a way that it was like, oh, we're so focused on this one product, but it just felt so limiting.
With it kind of seems almost, and I'm curious to what you think, that this, so it was a full decade, right? And now I'm sure there's so many skills that you built like in this last decade to set you up to be like an amazing freelancer, like to be able to really help your clients achieve their goals. If you had one skill, if you could only keep one skill that you've developed over, say, like the last decade, what do you think's been the most useful for you getting into entrepreneurship?
I would say listening, really
Interesting. Okay.
listening to the clients and what they're
Mhm.
looking for and not trying to push my agenda on them, and more just hearing it, what they need, what their pain points are, how they want to represent themselves, and how I can kind of help them achieve those goals.
Okay. Well, this like the post that we're just sharing over on Facebook for Megan, make sure to go over there. We'll have a link in the description for Facebook to kind of comment and share on that. It's been a really inspiring story. Now I guess let's talk about your kind of what you're doing now. Like what's kind of filling up your day. I know there's over on your website that I'm about to share, there's you have a number of offerings. So if you wouldn't mind kind of telling us what you're kind of more focused on now that you've made the full transition into entrepreneurship.
Sure. Yeah, I do have several offerings, and what ties them all together is that I'm the go-to for my clients. So when they need anything graphic design or marketing related, I'm the person they can call. So whether it's email marketing, signage design, logo design, I can make website updates or completely redesign the website, text message marketing, and social media marketing. It all ties together. And when a company has a designer working for them and they might not have the budget to have an in-house designer, they might not have the budget to hire an agency, so I can kind of fill that gap for them, creating really branded, consistent, compelling marketing materials to help build and grow their brand and connect with their customers and their prospective customers.
Yeah, this so it's the emphasis I think is for small businesses, which is it seems to be such a growing this idea of one person businesses
Mm-hmm.
and people like getting out of a big team structure and then having full control and then outsourcing all the little things. I know that's me personally. I'm a one person business and then I outsource all of these different things. It has the model has me so excited because if everyone kind of picks their role in it and then has really high quality work, then we can all kind of help and contribute to each other's journey to like really succeed. This we kind of some of Megan's services that we had pulled up. I wanted to what's logo design and branding is what kind of do you have like an onboarding process? Have you been changing a lot of logos lately? I've been thinking about changing my logo personally.
Yeah. So the onboarding process looks different depending on whether you're starting from scratch, you want a whole new look. And sometimes I have people contact me and they're just looking for a tweak to their logo. And, they might be an individual with just a podcast, or they might be, a retail store, or they might be a consultancy. So you have to kind of take a different approach for each type of client. But it
Yeah.
kind of begins with just learning about the company, talking, like I said, listening, finding out who they're trying to reach, how they want to be seen. Do they want to be seen as fun or professional or serious? What are their values? And then we take a look at the competition, take a look at what their logos look like. How are we going to fit in the space, but also stand out and meet all those goals? So we have that initial conversation. I create a proposal that kind of hits on the points that I think we need to focus on. And when we start to work together, we have another Zoom meeting where we kind of talk about different concepts. And then I just kind of hit Illustrator and create two different concepts, send them off and get feedback. I love feedback. I'm all about, taking in, especially working by yourself. You can get kind
Right.
of tunnel vision, or
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, even if the client isn't a designer, they still have good ideas. And a lot of times they will have little comments that can really help push the project forward and create a finished product that everyone is really happy with. That's the best part of my job, when my clients are happy.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of, while we're talking about it, ask this question. Do you ever get like kind of lonely when now that you are shifted into this like this one person business model? Or we didn't talk, I'm not sure if you have assistance yet or if that's like a goal or mission, but that's something I underestimated, going from working on like a giant with a giant real estate company with thousands of agents, tons of administrators and all this, and then going solely into this. I was like, wow, I'm by myself quite a bit. Have you noticed that? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally valid. I think that working from home since the pandemic began really made it an easy transition, because I was already working with
Mm,
a small team and I did love my team and I do miss them. But at the same time, going off on my own has opened up so many new avenues to connect with so many interesting people. I'm actually so much more stimulated now. I've been going to networking events, and I play tennis and I talk to the people that I play tennis with. And it's just really, I'm excited to talk about my business and my job, and I wasn't before.
dang, yeah, that's awesome. Well, this it sounds like a remedy to that then would be to use your work for work and being really intentional about the activities that you would maybe do outside of work, or maybe just like you're talking about tennis. I know that you have a Zumba class that me and my girlfriend really want to do and try out and so it seems like these activities become so important, and the ability to express that I really enjoy what I do and why I do it. I mean, shoot, that seems like one of the biggest reasons why I would work with somebody is because they're like passionate and they have conviction about what they're doing and saying. And I'm guessing that's kind of just coming naturally to you now as you're really seeing the change in your clients and yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Doing Zumba and being active and networking has created so many opportunities both ways. And it's not so much like, oh, I'm going to Zumba now, I'm going to try to convert my Zumba students into, or find out, like, if they have any leads for my graphic design business. It's more just showing up,
Mm-hmm.
being kind, being generous, being friendly, doing what I love. And those relationships build organically.
Man, yeah. This on your website we have you do some marketing. I see on here there's some I want to pop back over to your website. You have some email marketing and text marketing. What is your favorite way to market for yourself? And then also vice versa, what's your favorite way to market for your clients? Is the answer different? Is it the same?
Yeah, good question. Well, for myself, I really like to use social media just to, and like I was
Mm,
saying, similarly to um, what I was saying before, it's just showing up, just being myself, giving people a little window into who I am. And of course, you just try to keep it positive. I'm
mhm.
not, I will say, full honesty, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but I want to help everyone else see their potential and
Yeah.
be inspiring if I can.
Hmm.
So I so yeah, I would say for me it's just being really authentic on social media. And even sometimes it's not always positive, but it's always productive. I really am a big believer in self-improvement and always
Yeah.
striving to be better. For my clients, I would say that email marketing is really my favorite tool because my clients email lists really want to hear from them. Being that they're small businesses, they have a similar connection with their clients that I do. It's not, oh, we're sending the spam. Oh, this company's emailing me every day trying to sell me something. We do our email marketing really intentionally. Um, we create a strategy every month. We talk about what their goals are for the month, if there's certain products they're trying to promote, if they're having certain events, or what part of their business could use a little more attention.
Hmm.
So we kind of plan out the month, and then I again listen very closely to what they're telling me and take good notes, and I just hit the ground running. I source all the imagery, I come up with all the copy, I write the headlines, the subject lines, the body copy. I source imagery from their vendors, I source some copy from their vendors and usually edit it. And it's really fun because it all happens so quickly. We create this campaign, the strategy, I design the campaign, they approve it, it goes out, and it's just like there's a lot of momentum there. We can keep the conversation going with their clients. And then when my clients call me up and say, "Oh yeah, we had a great weekend. 7 people came in and mentioned that email." And sometimes even people will respond to the emails. I've had I've
Hmm.
had I've had my clients' customers respond to them saying, "Oh my God, this is the best marketing I've ever seen." And I mean, nothing's better than that, right?
Right. That's the validation on it. So I think one of the things that I am struggling with the most is motivating myself to build out a bigger email list,
Mm,
having the right people to get it out to. I don't know why I feel so much friction with it. I'm sure so many entrepreneurs do. It's like, man, I, who do I want to get in front of? I don't want to be that spam emailer. Do you have
mm.
any tips on like building an email list that I could take to this is a selfish question for me, everyone, but yeah, please take your notes down too. What's some advice you would have for me on building out an email list, getting those people on
Sure.
there?
Well, at the very basic level, you need to make sure that your website has a field and
Mm,
a sign up form on every page. So put it on the footer, on the homepage. People are used to pop ups. There used to be a lot of, oh, I hate pop ups. Everyone hates everyone does a pop up. Don't be scared to do a pop up and offer them something. And it doesn't
hmm.
have to be, it's not spammy if you're really providing value. And that's what we try to do with our emails too. Yes, some of
Yeah.
them are promotional, but a lot of times we're offering up tips on, for my clothing clients, we're offering, you're going back to the office. What are you going to wear? Here's a few different, from business casual to, a suit. Here's a few different ways that you can style yourself as you go back to work into the office. So thinking about first coming from that perspective of I'm providing value. So I am going to ask them to sign up with the confidence that I'm going to be providing them something that they'll want to read, and not, coming from a place of oh, they might think I'm spammy, or, oh, no one's going to sign up. Just have faith, be positive, get your sign up form out there. And then once they do, you have a couple emails automated to welcome them to your list, provide that value, introduce yourself, connect with them on a personal level. I think one of the biggest trends in marketing right now is just being human. There's so many
Right.
companies that are, people are really savvy when it comes to marketing. The consumer knows when they're being sold to. So, my clients really believe in their product, and I really believe in my product. And that's the driving force behind the marketing. It's not trying to be like deceptive.
Right. Just being, it's, it almost feels like strange to me when someone's trying to be genuine and human, because it's kind of something that has not been a part with us, whether, we could like talk about the pandemic, people being home, people shifting to the digital world. I'm sure there's a lot of things that compound towards this, but I gotta say, it's really refreshing when someone's just like genuinely trying to help me. And then if I need your service, I'm going to ask you for it. And
Exactly. Hmm.
going with that genuine exchange, that's it kind of keeps me to the under the idea of like excitement, and I'm excited about more of the, like, it's okay to just be genuine, and it's okay if you don't need my service right now. Is there some things that you're really excited about the marketing space? Is that like one of them, the humanization of like the touches that we give out, or what has you kind of excited about marketing in general right now, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of expounding on that. Yes, it's being the marketer, the company that is marketing, them being human. So we'll put the owner's name in the sender. Instead of it coming from company name, it'll come from Tanner, a Tanner at Tanner Talks instead of just Tanner Talks. And so that little human touch can help instantly connect and get them to open your email. And then also, from the user standpoint, designing things so they're useful to the person seeing them, and that is kind of a broad concept. But when we're creating content for emails or text messages or anything, again, talking about providing value, but how do you provide value with design? You make the most important information easy to read, easy to see. You create hierarchy so that you can draw their attention in a way that they can most benefit from. So that goes for websites, that goes for print, that goes for all kinds of design.
Interesting. So aside, email marketing is definitely one way I want to hit it, and the next would be to kind of, do you have under your options to do text marketing? I've never done SMS campaigns.
Hmm.
I've gotten texts before, and I always open up my text messages,
Yep.
no matter kind of who they're from. I was curious on what do you like about? Do you like text marketing? Is this something that you want to do a lot of? Do you recommend it to people? If you wouldn't mind touching on this, I was
Sure.
curious.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about the open rates. I mean, text messages get open, like I say on here, 99% of the time. Um, I
Wow.
will say there's two different types of text. There's SMS, which is just the words, and then there's MMS. So that's multimedia. So that includes an image. And I
Mm.
find that the messages with an image, although more expensive, are much more impactful because
Huh.
I'm on a lot of lists too. And I sign up for lists as because I'm a consumer, but also because I'm a marketer and I'm always looking to see what other people are doing.
Right. Understanding
And
the competition. Yeah, that's not, yeah.
sure, sure. So when some of these bigger brands send text, they often don't include an image, and those are really easy to ignore. Now, if they
Mm.
were to send me a text with a picture of the item that they're trying to sell me, then they're going to have my attention for a little bit longer. They're a lot more likely to get my click. So the types of text marketing that I've done for my clients is mostly centered around driving events. So a lot of my clients are men's clothing stores, and they will have trunk shows twice a year. And so we try to send texts infrequently, maybe once a month, because we're not trying to be spammy. We genuinely want to let them know we're having this event. We really think you would like it. Come on in. And if there's an offer, we'll include it.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be my recommendation for text marketing, is to not overdo it. You know, if you're a small business, that's you want to be respectful of someone's phone. So you have to be very measured about how you go about sending these. And a lot of times, you know, when we get texts automatically, if we're like have an appointment and it's like reminding you like those, right? It's like, oh, thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about this appointment.
Yeah, my memory's terrible.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, like those touches actually really help. And I see the responses from the text messages, and people will respond like they're talking to the store owner. They'll be like, thanks, Dave, I'll be in tomorrow. Or, oh, I'm out of town, I can't make it. Can you put aside some size 38s for me? So those kind of responses really let me know and validate the fact that these are working and that people are really reading them.
Yeah, dang. The open rates, I'm sure there's and this is probably for like when you start to consult me, I like the analytics behind it seem so powerful whenever you look at whenever I'm reading all these business books, all these people are like, you can't manage what you don't measure. Yeah. And you need to understand the numbers. Is there like do you have like an all encompassing thing that allows you to kind of see what's working and what's not? Or how would you even go about doing that? I guess I'm not even sure on like the marketing side. It's newer to me.
Well, if you don't have e-commerce, it can be difficult to measure because it's not a direct, okay, they clicked it and then I saw that they bought this. There is, you know, if my client does have e-commerce, we can track those purchases, and same thing with email marketing. But if it's just inviting you to an event, and it would be up to the store owner to say, oh, how did you hear about us? Or what drove you into the store today? Oh, it was the text message. And then they would have to make a note of that, make a note of the sale, and then, you know, so to be honest with you, nobody's really doing that. But, you know, how we measure success is we say, how much did this campaign cost? Let's say it cost $200. You know, do you think you made one sale that was worth it to you to send out this message? The answer is always 100% yes. You know, did you piss anybody off? No, nobody said anything bad about it. Did some people unsubscribe? Sure, that's okay. You know, there's all kinds of reasons why someone unsubscribes. A lot of times it's because they moved. Like people will reply to the text, I moved to Georgia, please take me off your list. So it's like, okay, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
So we're always, like I said, every month I'm strategizing with my clients and I'm asking them, did the text work? Did you get any feedback from your clients on the text? How was that weekend? How was the event? And we just kind of track it holistically.
Dang, nice. And the unsubscribe thing, I just to kind of hit it for 1 second, definitely it's going to take some time and be a little uncomfortable. I know personally, like my ego got checked because this is episode 273 of this sucker. And sometimes I have my subscribers going backwards a couple people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? And it like drives me crazy. So, but don't worry so much about the numbers versus, like you're saying, putting out like a value-based message that you truly believe is going to bring value. If I know that I'm going to bring personal development to make entrepreneurs better, then I'm more focused on this and then engaging with my clients and getting their feedback than worrying too much about like having 1 million subscribers or like being deflated because of the numbers on there. I just wanted to touch on that because I think that they can bother a lot of people in the beginning, you know, when you're not big.
Not even just in business, personally, people are always, oh, how many people liked this post of mine? Or, oh, did my followers on Instagram dropped? That I think
Yeah.
that's a very common, emotion that people feel. And it does take practice to kind of separate yourself and not take it personally. But I
Yeah.
think that the key to consistent growth is to continue to put your content in front of more people in different ways.
Yeah.
And that's through, networking, like I said, social media. I'm a huge believer in Facebook groups. So just
Mm.
becoming a member of groups of like-minded people. I like to
Yeah.
do the Peloton app. Like I do strength workouts on, so I don't actually have the bike, but I use the app. So I'm part of all these and I'm a mom. So I'm part of all these
Mm.
Peloton mom groups on Facebook, and like working moms of Peloton moms,
Mhm.
whatever. And every once in a while somebody will be like, I need a logo. And I'm like, oh, here's my link. But also I'm in the group being like, oh my God, what a great workout I had. Or,
Mhm.
what can you recommend a book for my son on religion? Like things like that.
Yeah.
And just to connect, like I'm saying, just be yourself, connect with people. People will remember you. People, once they like and trust you, and then those groups are kind of showing up in your feed so that when somebody does ask for something that you can help them with professionally, you're right there to let them know that you're available.
Yeah. This being there, willing to show up, being willing to help, staying consistent. It seems like staying consistent is the hardest part in like anything, so everyone has their days, but staying consistent with your message and what it is that you want to get out there and continue to help people. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and try not to think of it in terms of days, because you can have a bad day and you can have a bad week and not post anything. But, get back on the horse. I think that, and even if your subscribers are falling, even if your post didn't get any engagement, being consistent and paying attention to what did work, what did get
Right.
people talking, what did, sometimes people will comment on my posts like, thank you for posting this, I really needed this today. And I'm like, okay, they like this, they want more of this, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not like, it's a balance of providing content that is getting my message more seen, and also um, just providing that value for them. It's a reciprocal type of relationship.
This is kind of throws us into something I wanted to ask you. And so many things are like you're saying is a balance. And I wanted to ask you about like creativity and functionality with kind of the work that you're doing. Do you notice that you're helping people become more creative? Or do you notice that you're helping people a lot more just be like functional? Like this needs like your website doesn't work and it needs to like we need to get this to work. I just wanted your rough thoughts, creativity and functionality. What have you been working on more with, and what do you enjoy?
Sure. Well, I think that they go hand in hand. I like functionality is the groundwork. That's the foundation. So we need to, whether it's a website or an email, what is the goal? And the
Yeah.
design needs to meet that goal. And the
Yeah.
creativity comes into, how do I use words and images to serve that function? It's almost like a big puzzle, and it's really fun. It's like, and I get to use both sides of my brain for it. So I'm like, okay, like I like this. This is really pretty, and they have this branding, and these are their colors. But like, what's the goal? How can I take all these elements to create a design that is going to, you know, move the needle?
Yeah. So they're kind of working, they definitely work together because like once you have the foundation, then you build upon it to seem like so you can bring like so much value that like people would be stupid to say no to your offer. And where's if we could kind of moving on to, there's a lot of things that are changing constantly, and with the email marketing, the text marketing, I'm sure regulations are coming in. There's just a lot of things. How does one like stay up to date with like the latest tools and designs that you're doing? How do you stay up to date with that? And then also, would you mind kind of just sharing with our audience some of the softwares that you like to use?
Sure. Well, the industry standard for graphic design is the Adobe Creative Suite. So
Okay.
my main programs that I use are Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, and Adobe Photoshop.
Hmm.
And those enable, for Illustrator, it's logos, it's vector art. So vector, this might be getting a little too deep, but vector art is scalable. So sometimes you might see a picture and it looks kind of pixelated. It's a raster image. So raster versus vector. So if you have a raster photograph, that's a Photoshop project. If you need to edit it, brighten up the colors, clean up the background, whatever the case may be. And then if you're going to create a logo that needs to be stretched really big without losing resolution or made really tiny, that would be vector art. So that's what Illustrator and Photoshop are for. And then InDesign is for layout. So that's where you're placing your logos, you're placing your photos, and you're creating the typography and creating the layouts. So I use those all in tandem. And then the software that I use on the internet for web and email marketing and text marketing. So for web, I am well versed in Shopify and Squarespace.
Okay.
And so those are two that I will create sites in. Now, I will say that those are great tools, especially for people who plan to make edits themselves.
Okay.
But, well, Shopify, especially for e-commerce. But the industry standard is really to have a site that's created on WordPress. So I don't develop on WordPress myself, but I do work with some partners who do. So we work together where I kind of drive the design and they build out the back end. And anybody can also hop on WordPress and make their own edits. So it's a content management system. So WordPress for web. For email marketing, I suggest MailChimp. I've been using it for a very long time, and they are always coming out with new tools. They have the automations, they have AI that tells you what's the best time to send your campaign. They have all kinds of different ways that you can segment your lists, and their user interface is really easy to use. And then for
Okay.
text marketing, I use a website called Easy Texting. I've looked into many different ones, and they're the most willing to work with you, and their platform just works. And things have changed. You might notice that you used to get texts from short codes. So like you would get a marketing text and it would be from a 6-digit number. Well, the industry is moving to 10-digit numbers. So now everybody has to have a local phone number that they text from. So that's something that's changed. But that's the beauty of working with these SaaS companies, software as a service, because it's online and it's being updated automatically. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to download a new program. It's not like,
Yeah.
back in 2000 when you would get a new disk and have to pop it into your computer.
Yeah.
It's always, everything is always being developed and improved upon. So as long as you are actively using those tools, you're going to reap the benefits of all those updates.
Dang. Okay. Easy texting, MailChimp, using some of these other ones, Shopify. A couple of my clients, they use Shopify, and this one girl I work with, she just crushes it selling clothes on
Good.
Shopify. And I'm like, damn, I need to start getting more merchandise and something like that. I actually have t-shirts, some t-shirts made over there that I need to start wearing on the show. But anyway, so we talked about, I think we've covered a lot of ideas, strategies, and stuff. Can't thank you enough for your time again today. This, what I wanted to kind of, hopefully this can be helpful for people. What are just some common mistakes you see clients when it comes to marketing and design? Things that we could, people are really low budget, say if they don't have a lot of money right now, yada, yada. What are some things, some mistakes they could go and avoid, some things that they could do and improve for themselves?
Yeah, I would say one of the most common mistakes is not being consistent with your branding. And I know like Canva is a really big tool that a
Yeah.
lot of people use right now. And it does have some great designs. I mean, good designers are posting graphics there for people to use. But where they get into trouble is they're like, oh, this is pretty. I'm going to use this today. And then tomorrow, oh, I'm going to use this completely different layout with different fonts and different colors. Well, what happens
Mhm.
is you put out this content and people are scrolling really quickly. They don't recognize it as you. It's almost as if
Mm,
like, if think of a brand as a person, you know,
right.
if you showed up and you had a mask on, I wouldn't know it was you, Tanner. So I
Right.
wouldn't, you wouldn't grab my attention because I'd be like, that's a stranger. I would scroll right on by. So
Mhm.
if you have a good relationship with your customers and they want to hear from you, you need to present yourself in a consistent way so that they actually see you and can absorb your message. And that's through
Yeah.
using, you know, similar colors and fonts. And you can be creative, like, you know, using the same analogy of a person. I can show up in a different outfit every day, but I still look like me. So
Yeah.
you can, you know, be creative within a framework. And that's part of what I do with my logo design and branding, is help create that framework. So we'll, you know, decide these are your colors, these are your fonts, this is what a headline looks like, this is what body copy looks like. And it might seem like really mundane, but really when you put it into practice, it helps you grow your brand into something that is recognizable and can eventually like hit on an emotion with someone.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's this something that I'm really excited about is the idea of building out your own personal brand and using that. It almost seems like that's, I mean, way better than a resume is if your brand has some weight behind it or it has like a positive identity tied to it, like something of value. The whenever I think of my favorite companies, like all their brands are just so distinguishable, and I build like a feeling towards them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that might sound kind of weird, but I think we all really do feel that way about certain brands over
Yeah.
time. Like you tie the amount, so mixing it up so much. Like I know, God, who's a company's brand that I absolutely love? Well, this would be a cheap cop out answer, but like Apple, the
Mm-hmm.
everything about their products and how they look and the branding behind it, I think is super beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it totally gets me to forget the fact I just paid $3,000 for this laptop and all that. So
It
yeah,
feels
trying
worth
to
it. Yeah.
making it
Well, that
worth it.
they're a great example of, you know, functionality and beauty coming together, because the
Yeah.
Apple products are so easy to use, especially when you have, you know, the iPhone, and I've got my laptop and I've got my studio display, and they all just work seamlessly together. So, and that's part of their brand. It's not just the colors and fonts, it's the product, you know, and it's all, that's all part of the brand.
That's something I'm really hammering out content. So anyone feel free to copy this strategy. I'm hammering out tons and tons of content to let people understand and know, and then figuring out on the way how to beautify like the products, the exercises, and everything I have behind it. Hopefully, Megan can help me a bunch with this. But so not being too worried about like making, or this is at least my opinion on it, I don't need to have this be completely perfect versus just getting in there, getting started, being consistent, and then finding my groove and my beauty with it over time, whether that's just listening people talk about their businesses and trying to help promote them, or kind of maybe it is like a very specific like image when I post at 3 o'clock every day, like a quote, and then it has my logo, my branding. It's like very aesthetically pleasing. I guess my point here is emphasizing Megan's point on consistency and trying to build your own brand and strong
Mhm.
identity behind it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you know those are learning opportunities. Like I was saying, you know, if you post something, if you're posting at 3 o'clock every day and you're not getting any engagement, try to post at 7 a.m. every day instead. If you're still not
Yeah.
getting engagement, let's switch up the content. So you know you're always testing, always, and always also taking in other people's content, saying, "Oh, that really resonates with me. Oh, I like what they did there. How can I apply that to my brand and my marketing strategy?"
Yeah. Studying the competition, there's something special about that. I mean, they're out there. I mean, people have been doing it for a long time. And especially if you're a one person business, it seems like you're always still going to be a niche of one in some way because your experience is like your experiences with the company you worked with over a decade, into your role now, your activities, being a parent, like all of these things create something that I think is, you're not able to copy it completely, even if you wanted to. And that's really relieving in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
So
I agree. Go ahead.
this kind of rolling into the second half of our show, when we're kind of or the last bit of our show, I wanted to ask Megan a few questions on what, like, now that you're in the role of entrepreneurship and you are fully responsible for kind of creating the production, having the client experience go well, making sure that you're happy and healthy and balancing that. What's out of all that crazy stuff, what's your biggest challenge at the moment, if you wouldn't mind sharing?
Sure. I think my biggest challenge right now, I'm getting much busier, which is amazing. And I'm trying to, um, like you were saying, balance everything to make sure that I am, delivering on time and quality products. So it's hard because you just want to say yes to everything. And then I'm like, okay, when can I tell them this can be complete by, and how do I keep these hours open for these clients that I've committed myself to and
Yeah.
still do all the other things I like to? So I would say, yeah, just kind of structuring my days or time management. I think I've been doing a really great job at it, but I'm like, there's always this in the back of my head, like, maybe I need to structure this, or maybe I need to have my days planned out a little bit more specifically. But you know what? It's hard to do because the nature of my business, I would say 50% of it is responding to requests. So like I have marketing plans for several of my clients, and they're on the calendar and I can structure them in. But a lot of times I'll just get an email. It's like, oh, I've got this new project. And I have to really take a moment to think about, okay, when should I be doing this? Because my first instinct is just to do it right away.
Yeah.
But I have all these other commitments too. So it's kind of balancing everything and trying to figure out, time management.
Man, this has got to be one of the toughest things to do as an entrepreneur. I have this exercise in our coaching. It's called the entrepreneurial threshold, and then it just has this. Anyone feel free to do this exercise. I absolutely love it. But you lay out like what would be absolutely maxing yourself out. Like, what does that actually look like? How much money are you making? How much time are you working? And kind of who are you interacting with? Like, you're just creating the schedule that you hypothetically want to have. Because I think most businesses, a lot of them are to help people and make money. And if we fill out that to our threshold on like what we think, and I think I just like benchmarks. And like we were talking about, you can't manage what you don't measure. So if you're not sure on like the time of day or what's too much, or you kind of find yourself jumping around a lot, I always like that, like just that, like that threshold schedule that you create. And it's not like you have to live by that. It's more just like ability for us to think like, oh, wow, I need to do this, this, and this, and this to make so much money. But that project actually took 5 extra hours and I could only do that today, versus now this completely changes, et cetera, et cetera. So have you, I'm curious, do you ever time block or do any of that kind of stuff? I know that gets into the nitty gritty. I used to do that, and I stopped doing that because it seemed like I was like almost becoming a robot, like drink water at 9 o'clock, call this person at 11 o'clock. And it didn't go with the flow of freelance for me, but I was curious what you're thinking about trying out for scheduling stuff. And
sure. I have never tried that. I don't have a lot of confidence that it would work for me, similar to you. A lot of times, people will schedule meetings with me. So those are on my calendar. So I know, and then I take a look at and I also put my deadlines on my calendar. So that helps me. I take a look at the day, I take a look at the week, and every day, I got one of these little notepads I found at Target, and I will write out my to-dos for the day. These are my absolute like must-dos for the day. And, things will come up and I will need to pivot, and that's okay. I do have, I guess I've kind of done your threshold in a small way. I have a little sticky note on my computer that says 25 hours per week. So that's my goal, is to have 25 billable hours a week. And I haven't quite reached it yet, but I'm getting there. But what it's helping me notice is, and I use another tool that I use is Toggle. So that's what I use to keep
Okay.
track of my time and my projects. And
Oh,
I
cool.
export reports and I attach them to my invoices because I charge by the hour.
Mhm.
So knowing that I want to reach 25 hours per week and keeping an eye on my hours helps me to stay accountable, and it helps me to visualize where I can fit more in and where I might need to pull back.
Yeah. Yeah. This being able to see this and not get too lost into it, man. So I'm a nature person through and through, and I really I feel the best, not to get into that deep dive, but I feel the best when I'm not around tech, when I'm not like looking at clocks or the day of the time, and trying to find this tricky balance of like, okay, I feel most alive when I'm completely disconnected with technology. And I say this when I'm still like looking at my computer and I'm like writing for my book or something, but the timers and all the buzzers or like the clocks and stuff like that are off. I'm trying to balance that with like understanding that I need to measure like what I am actually doing, or else it's really hard to look next Sunday and be like, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And what do I want to do differently now? So trying to find some balance in between that, because I think they're all necessary pieces, if that rant makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm similar with nature, and I mean, I love nature and I live on the lake, so it's a nice respite when I need to just get outside.
Beautiful.
I go for a walk on the lake.
Yeah.
But exercise is that for me. I mean, it's my time to just be in my body and get out of my head. I'm not thinking about my billables or, projects. I'm just really living in the moment. And I think that's so important. Exercise
Yeah.
forces me to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
having my Zumba classes, I'm the teacher. I have to show up. There's no
Yeah.
saying no to that. And
Yeah.
then for tennis, like I have classes. So I'm signed up for the class, I'm committed, and I love it. And I'm excited to go every week. So just those are on the calendar, those are booked. So there's no way to avoid them. And I wouldn't want to.
Right. This the emotions being in the driver's seat of what we take action on, but logically setting up some deadlines to kind of force ourselves to get out of the house and stuff. I know sometimes I want to do classes and I want to be doing this. And then when the time comes up, like emotionally, I become a turd and I'm like, I just want to stay at home, pet the cats and the dog and not do much, yada, yada. And it's kind of crazy. But pushing yourself and being uncomfortable, trying new things, and then actually getting the activities that you want to do seems like such a happier way to live.
Yeah, and if something doesn't feel good, like that's not for you, move on.
Right. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's really comforting that I'm starting to discover that life's just not that serious, and I'm going at my pace and I'm getting better and I'm enjoying myself. That's probably my number one goal, is just to enjoy life more so I don't miss out on it. I've been helping take care of my grandpa recently. He's 90 years old, and I've never been close to somebody who's older, and it just it's been a real shock to me, like, holy crap, like this just flies by. And like, he was born in 1933 and it's already here today, which is just bonkers to me. So my number one goal is to really enjoy as much of what you were referencing as the present moment. Before we get out of here, I wanted to hear your number one goal though for 2023. Do you have a business, health, fitness, working with people? What's your number one goal right now?
Gosh, I can't say that I have a goal that I've kind of decided on, but I guess I would just say, for my business to feel solid, to have a steady income, to know that, you know, my income is going to be somewhat consistent from month to month. because
Yeah.
I'm only like in month 3 right now, and things have ramped up significantly, but I have a lot of unpaid invoices. So we'll kind of, I'm not sure where all the pieces are going to land. And I, I know what May looks like, but I don't know what June is going to look like. So I would love
Mhm.
to just feel confident that things will remain consistently successful for me and keep myself busy. And I think that a lot of that is comes from networking and talking to you and doing things like this, just keeping myself available and open to new opportunities.
Yeah, that's beautiful. This the consistency, I think, with your skills, your talent, your attitude, and kind of all of the things that you have working for. It's beautiful how entrepreneurs are just like this melting pot of experiences that provide value for people who really need and want it. So I got to say, I thank you very much for doing what you're doing so far. It's really inspiring. I think taking that leap, like we were talking about, just working a 9 to 5, getting into entrepreneurship takes a hero mentality, let alone the ups and downs of income. Because, folks, that is one thing that shocked me as well. It's like, wow, I made $0 last month. Holy shit. I need to make money for this to actually work. But you got to, man, being your own cheerleader and really believing in your message. And no, but I thank you. You're being really inspiring to a lot of people already.
Oh, well, that's sweet. Thank you very much.
Well, Megan, it was an absolute honor to have you here on the show. We're wrapping up for today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kick Megan off of here. Stick around with us, Megan, in the studio. I'll have a few more questions for you and stuff that you're doing that I need help with. So thanks you again, Megan, for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, that was a really fun interview. Got to selfishly ask some questions about it because I'm really trying to ramp up my own marketing strategies. I've just been pounding phone calls and not like managing it and tracking things as well as I could. I need better systems, to be completely frank with you, and connecting with people who are in the marketing space, connecting with people who have a better idea of how to apply a more efficient system is going to be the key for yourself to grow and evolve your business. So don't be scared to open up. Don't be scared to reach out to people. Like you could see over here on, you can book a free 30-minute call with Megan if you want to talk to her about marketing and web design. I highly recommend it. We're going to have the link for this in the show. I'll put this one for her contact information. Make sure to check her out on social media. She has a lot of fun posts and cool stuff coming in. But other than that, yeah, don't keep reaching out, keep growing yourself. And remember, marketing is vital and important because we got to contact these people and we got to have these touches in order to close sales and to help people and get in front of them. That's all I have for today, folks. You enjoy yourselves. Good morning. Good morning. Have an incredible Friday. And I'll be catching you all live. Remember, next week, we're actually changing our start time for the morning show from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're changing our starting point for the morning show from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. This is to shift some things around for my prospecting campaigns that I'm doing, and then vice versa with the show. So check us out at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, live on Monday. You guys have an incredible weekend. And in case you needed to hear it, I love you. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Best of best. Until next time. Peace.